Hey, I was I was looking at something. I want to say something about. I said something. I want to say something about. A lot of gays say that Jesus made no mention of homosexuality, and that would not be true. Okay, so for the record, I want to say Jesus did mention it, and what he said was a command. No, he made a threat against it. And you know how if you're Jesus, okay, I'm just gonna say, if you're God, it says God is humble. He is not a proud. He's not a bragging person. He don't mix words. As a matter of fact, what I like about him is that he don't even let anybody say anything that is just completely whack about him. If you come to him with a lie, he's going to tell you the truth. If darkness comes his way, he's going to spread some light, and the properties of light has to receive, darkness has to recede to those properties. Light and darkness cannot occupy the same space. Okay, so if you turn on the light, the darkness has to run, and it has to hide behind the and make shadows, or hide the objects in the room, and make a shadow. The properties will repel each other. They cannot maintain the same space. So you aren't going to just walk up to him and say a lie. In every situation of the Bible, he's going to reject that and going to put truth on the situation, no matter what. Okay, so the situation is that he's not boastful or prideful, but I don't have it right now, but I believe somewhere in the Bible, and you can look it up. I don't know exactly where it was, but Jesus, and I had the information earlier, but Jesus said in the Bible, and people try to use, Jesus as, but Jesus never said anything. He didn't have to say anything. Okay? Now, because it's already, and I say, people saying, oh, you're a bigot and you're a hypocrite. How am I a bigot or a hypocrite for just repeating what's already there? I didn't write the book. It was already written. And so then they say, well, the Bible is true, but some of it is false. So which parts? The one that is the inconvenient parts, right? So my point is that, okay, so there are two instances. The Bible always confirms itself. There's always two or more instances about anything that it says. So if they're talking about Jesus in the New Testament, then there is definitely something in the Old Testament about Jesus. Matter of fact, most of everything that Jesus said or did was already in the Old Testament. Okay, he only added things to it because he brought some new things to it. But the springboard was based on the traditional Judeo religion. However you want to say that, I don't know it. But what he did say is this: that I believe he said, if someone doesn't accept you, doesn't accept the truth, then it would be better for them. It would be better for those of Sodom and Gomorrah than it would be for them. If anybody do not accept my word, you completely reject Jesus. And if you completely reject Jesus, what else is there? When Jesus asked the disciple, are you two gonna leave me? Because there was a ton of Jesus had over 200 disciples. But they all left as soon as he started saying stuff they didn't want to hear, the inconvenient truth. You know, so Jesus had asked him, he said, "You gonna leave me too?" And one of them, I believe it was Peter, said, "Lord, where shall we go? You have the words of eternal life." So, you know, people who believe in the Bible, there is no alternative. Okay? It is only what Jesus said. And what he said was, if you don't accept this truth, then obviously, if you don't accept the words of eternal life, what is your alternative? You know? And what he said that alternative is you would be better off in Sodom and Gomorrah. Now, obviously, he is awfully talking about, you know, it would seem to me, I don't know, I'm not a scholar, but it would seem to me, I'm not a genius, but it would seem based on basic common sense that he's talking about, you know, hell or whatever. I guess that's the only thing I could think of. I might be wrong, you know, but draw your own deduction from that. But that's what I have done, is draw a very clear kind of common sense kind of, you know, base level deduction from it. So what he said is that it would be better off, you know, and those people were homosexuals. They didn't talk about anything else about homosexuals. And the same situation happened in Sodom and Gomorrah, happened with homosexuals again in Gibeah, homosexual rape, where they were going to rape this this man, but he had a wife, and he tossed the wife, who was an adulterous woman. He had to go and save the wife from, you know, leaving her. She was an adult. He went after her, his adulterous wife, because that's how you concubine, because that's how you're supposed to treat them. You're supposed to go after them. You're not supposed to just shut them away, you know, if they adulterate. That's why we got so many high marriage rates, because people think, oh, you cheated on me, that's the end of it. You know, I can never love you, forgive you, or trust you again, because that's completely horrible. You know, but at the same time, you know, then the homosexuals start to downplay you and to guilt you and shame you and call you names to try to shame you. First, they made up their own name, homophobia, and then that really wasn't working. So then they wanted to use black people's situation, which is the truth mixed in with a little lie. They tried to, you know, mix their, you know, the truth with some lie. It's still a lie. So, you know, so then they try to use bigotry, which is a lie that black people, so they slander you and try to shame and guilt you. So basically, Jesus said, you know, the Bible, the Old Testament, talked about Jesus. And Jesus, if nobody, I don't know, common sense deduction comes to me that if God and Jesus, I and the Father are one, and that city was destroyed, then Jesus was there, and Jesus had everything to do with it being destroyed. So basically, he didn't say in it. All he did was threaten. He said, it'll be worse for you than it was for them. What I did to them will be worse for you. That's what the said is. And in the days of Abraham, it is written that before Abraham was, I was. So that's the same. Jesus said that. So the Jesus that talked to Abraham before he went down into the city to check it out, before he sent his two angels. But there was three first. One of them was Jesus. And that's the one he was negotiating with. And that's the one that passed judgment on the homosexuals of Sodom and Gomorrah who tried to rape those men, the sons of man, those angels. You know, that's the same Jesus. So all it is, the reason why Jesus didn't talk about it, because he didn't have to. Everybody understood how he was and what he felt on the situation. You know, that was completely unacceptable. You know, and so to make it into laws and families, and I preached on it before, the handwriting on the wall, when you take what belongs out of the temple of God and try to give it to the angel, the thing about the Antichrist, it don't come until he tries to say that he is God. So, you know, God be the glory. You know, to God be the glory. You know, and that's what marriage is for. You don't bring that kind of thing up on the altar. you know, and a priest that is doing it, they're held more responsible than the actual homosexuals, you know. The priests that would do that, you know, they know better, okay, you know, it's a priest. The blood of the people will be on the hands of the priests. So we are talking about the same God. So Jesus didn't brag about it. He didn't talk. He said, you know, look, you know, this is not a question. What will happen to them will happen to you. You know, it's the same God. You know, it's the same God. So he said also that the Old Testament, Moses wrote the Old Testament. Moses testified about me. He wrote about me. So if you believe in me, then you believe in Moses. And Moses said homosexuality is an abomination. Now, you could talk about all the other abominations, shellfish and stuff like that, but he didn't say he blew up a city. Forgive me. He didn't say he destroyed a city. I take that back. He didn't say he destroyed. He didn't destroy a city over shrimp. Okay, over the clothes you wear. The only one, he destroyed 2 cities for the sake of homosexuality. Okay? So that's the plain, raw truth without any sugar. Okay? Now, if you want to find something else, you know, you want to sweeten it up, then you got to have to talk to somebody else who you paid or anything else. But as far as me and what I got to say about it, that's what I read. Okay? Anyway, God bless you all. Love you all. And, you know, nobody's perfect. At least tell the truth, though.